Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Safe Spaces. This is a space where we can be ourselves and be candid. Now, over the past month or so, the public health crisis that has snowballed has also had an adverse impact on mental health. We have so many questions that plague our anxiety ridden minds. To answer these and more over the next half an hour or so, live on Instagram and Facebook, we have with us eminent clinical psychologist Dr. Prerna Kohli, who is also a published author and a recipient of the 100 Women Award from the President of India. Welcome, Doctor.
Good evening and namaskar. Thank you for inviting me to such a thoughtful initiative taken by Spaces to deal with mental health during pandemic and a subsequent lockdown. I'm really looking forward to contribute here and give out some strategies and coping skills.
Thank you so much, Doctor. This is indeed the need of the hour. There is so much that's happening and so much that people are feeling. And we are going to try and take as many questions that are on people's minds. But this session, we are going to concentrate on the self, on the individual, because, as they say in an emergency, when you're on an aircraft, that oxygen mask, first you need to put it on yourself so you can be useful to others, you can take care of others. So we're going to discuss coping strategies and mechanisms that we can deal with to first work on ourselves. First up, I'd like to ask you, Doctor, you must be going through a lot yourself because in the number of cases that you are dealing with right now, because so many people are having mental health issues at this point of time. Is this something that you're witnessing, a drastic rise in cases and people that you're counseling?
That's very true, Vandira. I've seen almost a 50% increase in the cases that are coming. Recently the Indian Psychiatric Society did a survey and they have clearly indicated that 1 out of 5 person is suffering from mental health issue arising out of pandemic and subsequent lockdown. All right, and this is happening due to majorly three areas. One is uncertainty of the pandemic.
Yes.
The second is the feeling of a huge financial impact that it's going to have. And thirdly, the major lifestyle changes that we have to bring into ourselves. Also, then we have a group who is already going through mental health issues. Their anxieties has already risen even more than ever. And then we have this new group which is feeling very anxious and stressed. So yes, there has been a great increase in the cases which are coming to us now.
So it's basically a lot of fear and anxiety and uncertainty that people are feeling. Doctor, a lot of people don't often realize when they're going through something. They're just feeling things and they don't know how to identify them. So in your opinion, how does one identify telltale signs of stress and anxiety?
Well, I'll tell you to start off with, stress is as simple as something that you can't cope up with, which is beyond your control. The kind of uncertainty people are having, how long it will last, will I get it? This is like feeling out of control. So people are getting stressed. You get stressed when you feel out of control with that situation or that event. And anxiety is when you're living in the future. You are always worrying about the future. You have fear of the future. All right. The events may not be true, but you are looking in future and worrying and fearing. So, the kind of behavioral and emotional things that you go through are, lack of motivation, low energy to make any routine during this time. There would be people who will be suffering from palpitation, breathlessness. They will wake up middle of the night thinking what will happen probably to my interview, to my impending wedding, to that particular event that I was supposed to go, or to my work. So then there is also people who will be suffering from very poor. There will be irritability, there will be anger issues, there will also be bad stomach, you will not have a good digestion. So these are telltale signs when things are going not the way they used to go in your everyday life. All right. So this is the way you can figure out that, listen, why am I getting up 2 times at night, right? Or why am I, really worrying 24 by 7? Why am I watching that news channel or looking at the print media or checking my phone again and again to know how many cases have occurred or has any vaccine been found out, which is in a very, very worried mood.
Doctor, I have to tell you, I'm one of those people. The first couple of days, first 1 week of lockdown, there's such an information overload that comes, and there's so many messages that you are barraged with, and you don't know what of it is true, what isn't true, what you should believe. One day they're saying a vaccine has come out. One day they're saying there's so many cases that are going up. You don't know what to believe. So how we will get into detail about strategies, but generally speaking, how does one bring oneself into the present moment? Because like you're saying, anxiety is about living in the future. How do you bring yourself to that present moment? How do you bring yourself to the here and now?
So first thing I would really emphasize is that limit your consumption of media, whether it's electronic, whether it's social, whether it's print, and please choose carefully the media that you are going to consume. All right, there's some media that you follow, there are some newspapers, there's some, certain apps that you're following. Please be there. And also, without really understanding, knowing, don't keep forwarding messages. You're only forwarding, you're only startling people more. These news that we keep seeing, they come in a certain tone, they keep getting barged on us again and again, and they just startle us and hypenize. So I think there are many ways, and one of the quickest way would be, I think, to remain here and now is mindful. All right, and that could be easily achieved through, say, meditation. Yeah, you could achieve that through chanting. You could achieve that through exercise. All right, and you are a fitness guru. Nobody knows better than you that when you strength exercises, anything to do with strength, it helps you with more focus, with more concentration. It's almost meditative. And also, and also there's so many yoga poses. Like I really like to use the laughing yoga part, where you are just laughing, pretending to laugh, ha 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 ha, and the brain doesn't know that you are genuinely laughing, you're pretending. It still would, release those feel-good, hormones. So, many times I would just go in front of the mirror and do ha, 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 ha. You're already feeling good about it. Then there's another, technique in yoga, which we call the bumblebee, the humming. All right. And, even if you're not able to do the typical bumblebee technique, you could just hum like we used to hum, right? While you're walking, or while maybe you're cooking or cleaning. Yeah. We used to do that. Somehow we've forgotten. So if you increase your exercises, right, which could be...
Okay, this point I want to share with you.
Please.
I exercise every single day and I exercise on a regular basis, but because of the anxiety I was going through, it's you mention it, and I must share with you, the first thing that I did was I did a detox of the information coming my way. I don't open any forwards. I don't open any messages. I get into the news once a day just to get get information, because it's important to keep yourself informed and you find a source that is credible and reliable. So I did that, and you're talking about yoga poses. I don't practice yoga, I exercise, but because of my anxiety, I needed something a little more than just exercise. So it's like you spoke of the laughing asana, and you spoke of being like a bumblebee. There's the cobra pose, there's the cat and cow pose, there's the downward dog pose. These all helped me with my stress and anxiety. And be simple and be basic like animals, because animals don't take stress and they don't take anxiety. So those are the kind of poses that helped me a great deal. And I needed something more than just exercise, even though exercise is a very important part of my life. I also turned to meditations as well. So they really help a great deal. I am a living example of someone who went through something. In fact, I had an asthma attack, doctor. I manifested that breathlessness, because my mind is so strong, and everywhere you'd see these symptoms. Look out for these symptoms, look out for these symptoms. These are the symptoms. I actually manifested breathlessness in me, which just goes to show how strong our minds are. Our minds can manifest physical symptoms. So we will talk a little bit more about the strategies to deal with anxiety at the end. But work from home, that has become the new norm. We all have to work from home. That has become the new normal. How do we cope with this? Because we are home all day, we're cooped up at home. How do we deal with this situation effectively?
So, as you very rightly said, Mandira, we need to be the guard on a door of our mind. We always need to guard what we are feeling and thinking. And now that we are in a space with the other people, and there may not be enough space for everybody, I think the first thing is very important is to be self-care. You have to look after yourself, set a routine for yourself, set a schedule for yourself. The time you're going to wake up, the time you're going to sleep, eat, work, have entertainment. And I will also suggest to have time, space, and tasks, clearly lined out. So you have time for yourself, you have time for the family, and then also certain tasks that you do of yourself. Tasks meaning, maybe you want to finish that project, maybe you want to finish reading that book, earlier task, but something that you have chalked out for yourself. And space, for example, if you're working from home, you could probably designate a corner where you could put a chair. Maybe you don't have a table chair, just a chair to maybe work out, and then remove the chair, put a mat to exercise. We have to find reasons to be happy, make those choices to be happy, then find reasons not to be. Now, and also, if you increase your communication with your family and say, okay, if these are the timings for everybody's routine, then maybe I could use the dining table. All right, maybe I could use that corner. So I think increased communication, because cooperation and compassion is the only way forward, and very, very important to do self-care, because that's the first step towards global health, is your self-care health to take forward. Yeah.
And people get it wrong, doctor. They say that self-care means, am I being selfish? Self-care is not being selfish. Self-care is taking care of yourself so you are in a better position to take care of others. Yeah. Is that right?
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
And doctor, we briefly touched upon anger issues. Now, anger issues is also something that a lot of people are dealing with because of so much frustration, because of what they're going through, because they haven't seen the outside world. They're just sitting inside, indoors, 24/7. How does one deal with irritability and anger issues? I know even I feel it with my son because I'm homeschooling him. I know that he feels it with me. So how do you control your anger? How do you control your frustration and irritability at times like this?
So first we have to acknowledge and accept that there is this issue. There's pandemic, there's lockdown, and the calmer we are, the better it is. We have to make that choice. Are we going to take the choice of being irritable to ourselves and others, or create a space where all of us can be in harmony, right? So in something like this, adaptability, flexibility, with yourself and with the others. Maybe my time to have breakfast is 9, but for the other person, maybe the other a member of the family is 9:30. So we'll have to be adaptable, flexible. Also, as we talked about, various kinds of exercises, they really help you go a long way to keeping you calm. Think you could probably dance, skip, or do any other kind of, we are having people going on to Zoom and other electronic media to take dance classes, music classes, or just simply have poetry session, antakshari happening. You also need to increase your social circle so you don't feel cooped up and angry and frustrated about things. Also, you will find yourself in a safe space, because when you are in touch with others, others are also in the same space. So then you're creating a safety net and creating a very safe space for yourself, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
I must share something with you, doctor. I live here in Bandra, and buildings are pretty close by to each other. And morning and evening, I hear one gentleman who's doing sa re ga ma, and he's doing it at the top of his voice. And
Mm.
so I'm just saying he is a little off key, but I say hats off to him. That is his mechanism. That is something that he is doing, which is positive and productive in a sense, to cope with his frustration and anger. He's clearly not a singer, but he's singing because he's dealing. This is a strategy he's using. This is a mechanism he's using, and he's thinking this is something that is productive to make him deal with something. And I think that everybody should take on something new. A lot of people are getting into cooking, into exercise, into dance. They're learning something new. So these are
Yes.
all ways of coping with your anger and coping with irritability. And I say hats off to the gentleman who cannot sing but is singing. And that's
How
that's
wonderful
that's
is
what.
that? That's very wonderful. Very inspiring indeed.
Now, Doctor, a lot of companies in this time are cutting salaries. There have been layoffs in a lot of sectors. People are feeling very, very insecure about their job. Competitive. They're perhaps getting a little bit timid. So now, how do we deal with this? This is a very important thing because
Yeah.
people there's that huge insecurity, right? As far as your job is concerned.
So I agree with you, but we need to focus on what we can control. Right now, we cannot control anything. So what we can control is probably increasing our skill sets. All right. Also, not assuming. See, our thoughts are not facts. It's the language that we use, the power of language. It's how are you talking to your mind? How are you putting it in a calmer space? If you keep saying, what if, it may not be true. You've already gone in the future and again heightened your anxiety. You have to be in the present. What is in your control is something that you need to deal with. You could
Yes.
also, in this area, externalize anxiety, where you don't internalize and you say that, I am feeling awful about my job. I don't know whether I'll have it. So you say anxiety is making me feel awful because right now that's not the truth. And I'm going to deal with it maybe by reading a book, maybe by increasing my skill sets, maybe by going for a walk. Instead of internalizing, externalize anxiety. Your thoughts are not facts. Focus on what you can control, right? Then you will feel in control, you will feel calmer, you will be able to focus and concentrate and be here and now and be able to enjoy these moments also. Mandira, we are in the moment of history. We have to make the best of it. We are in the moment in history. We have to find that space of introspection and reflection and make ourselves rather take it. If you are working from home, find that space of introspection and reflection where you come out stronger and you because we are very resilient as human beings, come out stronger and say that listen, thank God I have a job right now. People may not have, I may not have is like already not being in the present, right? So I would say focus on what you have control on. Your thoughts are not facts. You have the power of language.
Absolutely, doctor. And you know what you said? We are a part of history. We are going through something that so many generations have never, have never seen. And we also should be very, very thankful in this digital age that we can stay connected with people, that we can watch a forum like Safe Spaces where there are answers for you, where you can speak to and check on your family members on a regular basis with these video calls. We are a part of history, and we are a part of history at a time when there technically, uh, technology wise, we are able to stay connected the way we are. That is something that is very important, and something to be very grateful for, I think.
I totally agree.
I've seen a very interesting comment on the live stream, and I think it's very pertinent. I'd love you to take this one. I feel pressure to be productive all day. How do I cope with this? How would you answer that, Doctor?
I want to differentiate. You had a question in the beginning about stress. I do want to differentiate between pressure and stress. Pressure is good in many ways. it keeps you alert. It makes you get into action. If you have a presentation and you revise it, if you have an exam, you will revise it, you won't be lax. Pressure is good as long as it propels you into a positive action. But when pressure seems like things are getting out of control, I am having sleepless nights over the cooking I have to do because I have to put it in the WhatsApp group by the evening. Please, there was somebody who sent me a forward, Manda, and I wanted to share with you. And the forward was something to the effect that during this pandemic and lockdown time, if you are not acquiring a skill, if you don't have a side hustle, or if you don't gain knowledge, then you don't have lack of time, you have lack of discipline. So in the beginning, it felt very inspiring, but I want to reach out to all those who are not doing this, but are staying healthy. It's all right. Just focus that you are healthy, that everybody in this pandemic is not privileged to have fun and productivity. People are
Right.
really having an anxious time. Maybe they have their loved ones overseas, maybe the child is overseas, maybe they can't reach out to their elderly parents. So many dreams, so many events all gone out of gear. So as long as you are staying healthy and focusing on your self-care, and please reach out, increase your communication and say, listen, I don't want to be part of singing because I'm feeling under pressure. All right. Or I don't want to be part of that sari challenge, for example, or for example, the challenge of bindis or photographs, whatever, because I'm feeling already very challenged. It's all right to express your ability. It's all right. It's okay. Stay there. So it's okay if you're not productive as long as you're following a routine, as long as you're looking after yourself, you're sleeping well, eating well, and exercising well, you are good to go. You're increasing your mental and physical immunity. That's most important right now. So just find your mental space to be the most comfortable at the moment.
That was very, very valuable what you said, doctor, really, because we take a lot of pressure, and because other people, you cannot you cannot measure your progress, or you cannot measure your space of where you are based on how others are. Everybody has their own journey. So my journey is going to be different from your journey, doctor, is going to be different from somebody else's journey. And some people are going to come out having acquired a skill, and some people are just going to have come out of it having introspected a lot and grown and evolved as human beings. So everybody has their own journey, and you cannot social media should be used, I think, very positively, and that's how I use it. I don't look at it for comparisons. I look at it for, this is my journey, and I, at various milestones, like to post and put out thoughts I'm going through, feelings I'm experiencing, and my milestones. And they could be small, they could be big, and that's how we all have our own journeys. That's what's important, isn't it?
I totally
Okay,
agree with you.
there's one more that's come from a viewer. Do men and women respond differently to anxiety? How does this work?
Yeah, this is true. Men and women from time immemorial have been, responding differently as far as anxiety is concerned. Women seem to be more anxious than men, even though they have to get their bread, because I know through researches that women have that maternal, instinct. They have the nurturing instinct. So they take upon themselves more than they should or could. Also, we have a lot of expectations, whether that's the daughter, mother, sister, wife, daughter-in-law. We have a lot of expectations. And the pressures become even more if you're a homemaker and you're working. And if you have a small baby, or you're pregnant, or you have a larger family. So I think women, yes, need of the hour is also, as I talk about women getting more anxious, is that we must create a support system for them. The children
Yes.
must help the mother at home. We are hardly having any help. Must help in
The husbands need to have,
Yes, I
husbands
was
need
coming to that.
to share
Yes,
responsibility in how
yes, yes,
and share the load in that
yes.
sense. Because if a working woman, sorry, doctor, I had to interrupt you here, because if a working woman is contributing to the household economically, she should get support from her husband as far as the domestic chores are also concerned. And I will say this: the Indian woman is like way ahead of her Western counterpart, because apart from being a mother and a wife, she continues to be a loving and devoted daughter, a daughter-in-law. She takes on so much more responsibility than her Western counterpart does. So that is a very important factor, you know.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It has to be a teamwork. It has to be going hand in hand. And then this is how the women anxiety will also reduce, and she will not
Yeah.
feel guilty. She will not feel guilty. Also, they have their hormonal issues also. We must be
Yes.
caring and compassionate, be thoughtful, be more empathetic towards our mothers, sisters, daughters, wife. Yeah.
Dr. Kohli, one more thing. We are getting a lot of questions regarding disturbed sleep patterns. This is very, very important. We can be happy and we can be present in the moment and we can be calm if we've had a good night's sleep. So this is something that a lot of people are dealing with. They're not sleeping well at night. How does one deal with insomnia? This is like a $1 million question.
No, it's actually very simple to start off with. One thing has to be clearly said on the onset is that for any mental issue to reduce, you have to get the brain some rest. All right, the brain has to rest. There is no other way out. No matter how well you are sitting or exercising, you have to get certain amount of hours to let the brain rest,
Sure.
because it will help reduce any kind of infection and inflammation. Also, the brain has to get it start regenerating its own immunity. All right. So there are a lot of tips. One is that you must be in routine. You must be sleeping at the same time every night. It cannot be 8 o'clock one night, 9 o'clock one night, right? So it is something like if you get up every morning at 5 and put the alarm, after a few days you'll realize that you get up even without the alarm. So it is just retraining your brain. So if you sleep at a particular time every night, you will feel sleepy by that time. I would also encourage you not to be seeing any startling or exciting news or movie, all right? Because anything emitting out of your screen is also exciting your brain cells. Then it gets difficult for them to calm down and sleep. I would also encourage you to have exercised well, eaten light, maybe have a glass of warm water or milk if it suits you. Um, have a nice, shower before you sleep, and your towels in your bathroom should be really, really exciting and inviting. And that is even true of your room, which should have very colorful, bright bed sheets and interesting rugs, because you would feel like then going in that space that you created of joy when you have bright sheets, nice looking rugs, clean rugs, nice towels in your bathroom. Then you get looking
Happy
forward to
space.
it.
Not
And
just a
yes,
safe
happy
space.
space.
Yes.
And also there comes the color, therapy, the color psychology. Even if you're feeling low, wear bright colors. The brain gets excited because we are made of energy. It gives good energy. So using, bright sheets, bright towels, clean and bright rugs is very helpful. I would also encourage you to probably have a head massage, right? You can do some chanting. You can have some soft music. You can have some meditation, and yes, I think you just need to be consistent and also see the light is all right. There's no light, no surrounding sounds coming out, because everybody has their way of also finding comfort in sleep. Yeah, some people like the
That's
light sound, for example. So whatever works for you, but please be clear, you need to sleep for those 7 to 8 hours for your brain to be functioning in a more alert, bright way. You will be, having better recall, you will be having a better retention. And also many times when we are anxious or stressed, we say, let's sleep over it. So when you wake up, you look at it from a different perspective. And times like this, Mandira, it's all about your attitude and perspective to look at the situation. We are going through a collective traumatic experience. It is your
yes.
attitude and your perspective which help us move out of it. So sleep is
Doctor, I will
extremely important.
add one more thing to this. Every time I feel I'm not getting a good sleep, I do a 5-minute meditation. I do a little deep breathing, and that brings me to a place of calm. And you have to get to a place of calm to be able to sleep well as well. So, adding to all those wonderful suggestions that you gave, after all, your bed is your safe space. It's your happy space, and if you're on nice bed sheets with beautiful rugs and curtains around, you feel good, you feel safe, and and a final thing, as I said, if you feel like, do a little meditation, a little deep breathing, that also helps get you into that calm space before you go to sleep. Doctor, finally, I know you've given a lot of suggestions, but any quick handy tips to strengthen our mental immunity? Because that's what we need to strengthen, along with our physical immunity, our mental immunity during this lockdown.
So, a couple of things I do need to stress on regarding stress and anxiety is please reduce your intake of caffeine or alcohol. Very, very important. All right. Because a cup of coffee, a couple of cup of coffees are fine. If you increase the intake of caffeine, you're going to feel very, very anxious. So don't
Sure.
have it too late in the evening. The other tip I want to give you regarding anxiety, when you wake up in the morning, as soon as you wake up, within 30 seconds, you go on a vertical mode. Please sit up. If you keep lying beyond 37, the thoughts start, plaguing your mind. And you
That's
could
nice.
be, saying a prayer. You could be saying a prayer, a thank you for another beautiful day. Thank you for the roof over my head, food on my table, and a lovely family. Or you could just chant, or you could just hum, you could just freshen up yourself. Do anything, but please get out of bed. You will not have anxiety plaguing you first thing in the morning. The other couple of tips I would really like to give is to maintain gratitude journal. An attitude of gratitude will go a
Doctor,
long way.
I'm
Yeah.
sure to have a gratitude journal. I write in it every single day.
Yes.
And
Even
also,
I have one.
I'm going to interrupt you here. I do exactly what you just said. I'm feeling so happy that you've just said it. I wake up, and before I open my eyes, I say thank you that I have woken up this morning. And then before I put my feet on so I get up after that, and before I put my feet on the ground, I say thank you that I have a roof over my head, food on my table, and that I am safe with my loved ones, and my loved ones are safe as well. And then I get into my workout gear. So that's how I
Wonderful.
cope.
Very good. So, this attitude of gratitude will sail you through. And I would suggest that do this consistently every day. All right. It could be the first thing in the morning or last thing at night, and you realize how complete you are and how fortunate you are, how blessed you are. This is the best technique to really go through this difficult time. One more to add to this would be creative visualization and positive affirmation. You know, positive affirmations are inspirational, positive statements which bring about a change in your thinking, and they inspire you to have better thoughts, so you have better actions and feelings and experiences. So, and when I say creative, imagination here is very important, creative thinking, because I want you to, when you say, I am safe, feel that you're safe. I am happy, feel it that you're happy. Be there because you are at this moment. You're safe, you're happy. Say, I'm protected, I am blessed. These positive affirmations every day. And I would also recommend that these positive affirmations are done in front of the mirror, which we call the mirror therapy. So when you look into
Yes.
the mirror, you're talking to yourself, you're feeling good about it. I'm a rock star, I'm wonderful, I'm happy, I'm energetic, my family is safe, God is kind, we'll get over with this, is the way to charge yourself. It is the language you speak and the thoughts you speak out will make all the difference.
That's the thing about creative visualization, doctor. I've read a book on it, and you have to see yourself in that future and talk of that future as if it is the present moment. I am happy, I'm meeting my friends again, my life has gone back to not just what it was, but even better than it was, and it has to be spoken in the present moment. And that's how you can that's how affirmations work, isn't it, doctor?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so glad we're on the same page.
Dr. Kohli, you made my day. Without sort of actually speaking to a psychologist, I'm doing quite a few of the things that you've been suggesting today, and it makes me feel very good, and that perhaps I'm on some sort of a correct track to cope with the times that we're going through. But it truly, Dr. Kohli, thank you. It was such an enlightening session. Let's hope that people who tuned in to Safe Spaces will make use of these strategies and these tips to help us cope better and strengthen our mental immunity in these very, very uncertain times. What I'd like to say to all of you who've tuned in, please do tune in next Sunday. That's 26th of April, because we're going to take on a slightly different subject on how to deal with children, with teenagers, to handle family conflicts and maintain support systems. And once again, thank you very much, Dr. Prerna Kohli. That was such a beautiful session. I'm feeling so uplifted. I'm feeling so enlightened. And I'm hoping everybody who's sitting at home and who's watched this session feels the same as I do. Thank you very much. And we're going to see you again on April 26th. But before all of us go, here's something I'd love for all of you sitting at home to participate in. The bed that we have in our bedrooms, they're in a way a safe space to spend time with our families. So while we navigate this pandemic and the lockdown, do share with us your best moments, your sweet moments with your families on your bed. They could be pictures, they could be videos, and you could win a gorgeous gift hamper from Spaces. So from Dr. Prerna Kohli and from me, thank you for tuning in, and we see you soon on Safe Spaces once again on April 26th. All of you, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive.
Thank you.